Morning. Opex again. So I've been trying to make this video the last couple days, and I've really lost motivation to make it. It's a very big video, and it means a lot to me that other people have this information. Last couple days I tried making this video, and the video just gets so large that my phone doesn't record after a certain amount, and it gets overheated or restarts. And I've tried making this twice now in the last 3 or 4 days, and I lost a lot of motivation, but here we go. Wow, that's a nice looking hawk. Sorry. So I want to talk about punishments. I want to talk about consequences. I want to talk about how you learn, how you progress, how you fix the problems in your life in terms of what you do wrong, what you do right. Let's start off by saying about a month ago, I got a speeding ticket. It was a warning. Cop pulled me over. It was a zone on I-65, like right north of Louisville. And I got pulled over, and I knew it was a zone where they stop a lot of trucks and they catch them for speeding, even if it's 5 miles an hour over. I got caught in like a 60 or 61 in a 55. And I got in, I learned my lesson. I suffered the consequences, but it was a warning. I'm not going to go 60 miles an hour in a 55 in that zone anymore. I get it. But my work decided to punish me, which ultimately affects them as well, but I'll get into that later. So they punished me. They sent me back up to the shop at the work office to do something I didn't think they were going to do about 3 weeks ago, which was a week after I got my speeding ticket warning. So they governed my vehicle's speed. Now, I already have a governed vehicle. I already have to be limited to 65 miles an hour. But they decided to limit it even lower to 62 miles an hour. Like right now, I can't go over 61 or 62. Like sometimes I can hit 62. Fucking ridiculous if I'm trying to make money. So I'm losing out on money because of this punishment, which did not affect insurance. I mean, me getting a warning speeding ticket didn't affect insurance, didn't put points on my license, didn't, require me to pay a fine or my work to pay a fine. Nothing like that happened. It was a warning, but my work decided to govern my vehicle even lower, which saves them a little bit of money each month on insurance. For trucks, you save money the lower your speed is governed in insurance. But ultimately, this affects my money. I'm going to make it to many less stops per year. Not to mention, I have to drive longer distances or longer times to reach that distance. It really affects my money. I get paid per mile, and if I'm making less per hour now. You know what I mean? Not by much, but it adds up. Not to mention, if I can get to a stop sooner than later, I can go on to the next stop right away. And my work makes a lot more money that way. A lot more than they're saving on insurance. So, with that said, I'm losing out on money, my work's losing out on money, all because of a punishment that I already knew that it was a zone that the police stop people regularly. I thought 5 miles an hour over was still legit, but I guess it isn't. I learned my lesson. But I didn't need to be punished, where we both lose out on money now, to teach me a lesson, which was already taught. Because I'm an intelligent being and I learn. So with that said, that was a negative example of a punishment that negatively affected the person punishing and the person getting punished. Affecting money, affecting time, labor. I'm not going to be able to get to a place in time anymore. Like, if I'm an hour late, I'm sorry, man. You decided to govern me way lower than the speed limit. If I'm in Texas and the speed limit's 75, and I'm going 62, you know what I mean? 13 miles under the speed limit. I mean, right now, everyone's passing me, you know? And I've been dealing with this for almost a month now, of being governed at 62 miles an hour. Alright, that little rant's out of the way. It doesn't really negatively affect me in terms of mentally, but in terms of money it does. In terms of extra oomph of labor time, it affects me per day. You know, sometimes I drive 10, 11 hours a day, you know, 7 days a week for months at a time. So you add that up, you know, if I'm going 3 less miles per hour, not to mention the speed limit, 13 miles per hour less, I'm going 13 miles an hour less. Add that by 300 something days a year and 10 hours a day. Anyways, just throwing that out there, and that's out of the way. I'm going to make this video as quick as possible so I can tell you all the details of what I'm trying to explain. So that's the example that I'm going to show you that just happened recently. Now, a lot of adults cause problems. They commit crimes. They affect somebody else negatively. They steal, they rob, they hurt, damage, injure people. So instead of fixing the problem and explaining how this is negatively affecting somebody else, yada, 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 they just throw them in prison or jail, depending on the crime and the number of offenses and yada, yada, yada. They throw them in prison. Well, that punishment doesn't help the guy getting punished, does it? You may say, well, he doesn't want to go back to prison again. Of course he doesn't want to go back to prison. He doesn't learn his lesson from doing the act. He learns his lesson how to not go back to prison again. But chances are he's going to get caught again, because statistics are real. What is it, 80 to 90% of people who go to prison go back to prison. It's like 85% of people who go to jail, go back to jail. Go to prison, go back to prison. It's like upper 80s. It's like 85%, let's say. Oh, that's a real statistic. So, does the punishment fix anything? Nope. Nobody's teaching them the ways. They're just trying to learn how to not go back to prison again. So, how to not get caught. So there's a tribe in Africa that instead of putting the person who does wrong in jail or prison and or punish them, what they do is they circle the individual for days, like 2-3 days at a time. And instead of telling them all that they did wrong, instead of saying, you know, you're going to jail, you're going to prison, you got to pay this fee, all this bullshit that we in the Western world do, which is idiotic, and that's what I'm trying to teach you. What they do in the tribe is they circle the guy or woman and just shower the guy or woman with all the things that they have done right. They don't dwell on the act of, let's say, he stole chicken to feed his family, you know, or stole some corn or whatever to feed his family. What they do is say, you've done this as a child, you've done this great thing, this was good. All the things that this guy's been done right. The guy would generally, you know, fall in alignment in their spiritual and frequency level to all the things that they've done good. The reason why that works, and that's why it helps them, is the same type of reason why when you go into church and you ask for forgiveness, and you know, you're at church and they talk about good things instead of all the bad things. Church is a really good example of this in the Western world, like a Christian Catholic type church. You ask for forgiveness, you get baptized, and instead of dwelling on the negatives, like you're a drug addict or this or that, they dwell on good things, like, of course, Christianity believes in the Christ. You know, and the Christ was a good, you know, idol to help you out in your day-to-day journey. So when they're basically, hey, this is a really, really good thing, you're showered with good feelings, and you see good. You don't see the bad. But when you're thrown into prison, you are dealt with all the bad. There is no showering of good. Even if they give you a Bible, it doesn't necessarily help you, because you're not being surrounded by positivity, you know? And you align with that frequency. It's the same way, and this is the main point of what I'm trying to get at. When you punish a child, you're not punishing them on good feelings, good vibration. You're punishing your child to align with your negative frequency. So I'm 100% against an aggression type parenting. Spanking, hitting, any type of aggression toward your child. Because not only when you're aggressive, you're emitting a negative, evil type frequency, the child is aligning with that frequency. That's why, like, when you raise your voice as a parent, the kid gets that feeling of that negative feeling that you are getting. And they now are surrounded with that negative feeling, and that negative feeling is going to fulfill their day or week or month or dwell in them for X amount of time. So you're instilling a negative effect on them just in the, emotional status. Then you're actually abusing them on top of it. Your child hit another kid at school, and then you hit your child. Tell me how that's gonna cause in their brain, oh, I shouldn't hit. Yes, spanking is a form of hitting. I was spanked as a kid many times, and let me tell you, when I got spanked by my mom, let's say, do you think right after she spanked me, I want to hang out with her and good things are happening? No. After she spanks me, I go fucking as far away from her as possible. You know what I mean? She emitted a negative feeling on me. She abused me, the whole nine. Now, I understand why people spank. I'm not an idiot. I understand. I'm an empath. I understand. There's two main reasons why people abuse their kids, or spank their kids, let's say. One, it's a tradition, and you're just following tradition in terms of, my parents did this to me, I think I learned from it, I was taught respect out of it. And the second reason why people abuse is because of lack of intelligence. And in fact, I'm going to switch that to both of these are lack of intelligence. Because if you're not thinking for yourself in parenting your child, and you're just going to a traditional state of, this is what my parents did, you have a lack of intelligence. And if you have a lack of intelligence, you are more apt for violence. You can't think in the moment how to help your child, so you hit them and say, that worked. It's an easy way out. All types of violence is due to lack of intelligence. So, you hit your kid because he flunked his math test or some shit, right? So you hit your kid, you need to learn, and instead of helping your kid, what you should be doing is being more involved on a level with your child, being connected with your child, helping him get through whatever issue is going on. You don't hit him and say, that worked, because it doesn't, and it never has. In fact, punishments do not help. Now, when that kid gets spanked, same thing with the person who goes to prison. The kid doesn't want to get spanked again. That's it. He doesn't learn his lesson. He just learns how not to get spanked. No, don't paint on the walls, or, don't do this, don't do that. They'll go into the next room out of your eyesight to do it. You're not stopping him from doing it. You're stopping yourself from seeing it. I hope you understand where I'm coming from with that. So, of course I'm against an aggressive parenting position. Totally against it. Of course, up until a few years ago, I was totally for spanking. But since I've grown in consciousness and awareness, I see with my own eyes what my family does, what other families do, how others react to punishments, how it benefits them, how it doesn't benefit them. I use all of these awareness tools to see all this stuff, to feel what they're feeling, and to see what works, what doesn't work. Now, give me a second. Now, of course, I have people in my life that still spank in the whole nine. I see that it doesn't help. Like if somebody gets spanked, you see the negative vibe they get off of it. It doesn't help anybody. I'm not going to mention names, but I see it all the time. And it doesn't work. Punishment does not work. If you helped your child through it, or the person, the adult, or it doesn't matter, if you help them, there's a whole different ball game than if you just spank them and then try to help them, right? Because the kid's not going to want to listen to the parent after he or she just got spanked, or hit, or abused, or even punished. Take away his PlayStation, right? Or his Xbox, whatever the kids are playing these days. Taking that away isn't helping. Yeah, that's not aggressive, but it is aggressive because the kid has freedoms and you bought this for him and then you just take it away from him or her. If you're taking away something or putting your child into timeout, this doesn't help anything. You're just avoiding the thing that you should be doing as a fucking parent, and that is helping your child. There, I said it. Tried to stop myself from saying it, but it has to be said. You're avoiding the thing you should be doing. Taking away this. I hope you learned your lesson. Yeah, I don't want you to take away my fucking PlayStation again. That's it. That is it. That's all they learn. How not to get my PlayStation taken away again. They don't learn to fix the problem, the real problem. And you're not teaching them because you have a lack of intelligence. Intelligence would assume help and how to help. So, again, this is a passion of mine, so that's why I'm cursing and stuff. Of course, I use bad words in all of my videos, but it's a good expression of how I feel. So, don't hit your children. Understand that if somebody does something wrong, they don't need to go in timeout or prison or anything like that, because it doesn't help the problem. It only tells them or helps them to realize, hey, I shouldn't. It's not like when I was a child and I went to the mall and I stole some shit at like 6, 7, 8 years old, stole shit out of the mall. It's not like I learned my lesson from stealing shit out of the mall. I just learned how to not get caught. And I see this with everyone. And if you don't see that, that's what this video is for. Punishment doesn't work. Consequences are the consequences. There's such thing as karma, and of course, I'm going to get into a real video on karma relatively soon, because people think they understand karma. It's like well known. Everyone knows what you do comes back to haunt you. That kind of shit, right? That's not what really karma is. That's a piece of it, but that's not truly what karma is. And I will get to that in another video. I don't have time to say it in this video. So learn that punishment doesn't help. Help them through it. If I got a speeding ticket, say, hey, you shouldn't go that fast in that area. And I go, a light bulb goes off. I shouldn't go fast in that area. But we're going to govern your vehicle and punish you and throw all these fines at you. That doesn't help. I had 2 DWIs. You know what I mean? I went to jail and I went to did my time, went on probation, had all the punishment, had to spend all types of $10,000 plus. Do you think I learned my lesson from the punishment? No. I just learned how to drink and drive without, you know what I mean? How to not get caught. Find the roads that the police aren't on. You know what I mean? That's what you think about. And it's not what you do. It's not like you need to teach yourself as an adult, but as a parent trying to teach your child, teach your child. Don't just say that's how it is. Show them the way. Use intelligence. You have a form of intelligence and you can use it. Show your child the way. Show yourself the way. Know thyself. Understand how things work and how things don't work. Spanking doesn't work. It's just a way of going around you actually doing the work with your child. I might get into a deeper non-aggression principle type video at a later date. So stay tuned for more content. You know, I'm all about peace, happiness, longevity, and just overall happiness, you know? So enjoy the rest of your day. I'm out.